We are joined by Trevor Williams, who's the Chief Economist at Lloyds Bank Corporate Markets, who's joining us. Good morning. Good to have you with us, Trevor. You know, it's a very crucial week for Greece. There are still doubts over the level of participation by private bondholders in the proposed bond swap. Do you think this will get through smoothly, or will we be in for some more surprise?
Well, I think that the feedback we're getting so far is that the take-up is low, and that might mean that they'll be forced into activating the collective action clauses, which, as you know, may mean that the ISDA will have to vote once again on whether or not this is a default event and whether or not, therefore, potentially £3 billion worth of CDS insurance will have to be paid out. That's now a increased probability.
Right, but Trevor, Europe is definitely not out of the crisis yet, and G20 wants the Union to revisit the size of the regional bailout fund. Do you see the bailout fund being bolstered possibly?
Well, I think that clearly if they have to do it by a couple $100 billion or so, then I expect that they would if that was all of it. The problem is that I think Germany is up against what it's willing to do politically, and that means internally there'll be a big opposition to any increase, because effectively that will have to be funded by the Germans. And I think that with the action that Draghi is taking, they don't really want to do much more. So I think there'll be a lot of political infighting should they do much more than they are currently on the hook for in the bailout fund.
Trevor, now leaders also spoke of reviving growth, and the private sector data points to the contrary. Do you think it's too soon to speak of growth?
Well, I think that some economies in the euro area are growing. Germany is growing, for example. But it does look as if Spain, for instance, will contract once again, and that most of the peripheral European economies will experience another year of recession. I think that there are some signs that some of the northern European economies, Western and well, are showing stronger signs of coming out of the slump. But overall, the growth for the Eurozone, remember, was revised down by the ECB to minus 0.2% for this year. So the prognosis for the Eurozone as a whole is for one of recession this year on a full-year basis.
Right, and finally, what's your view on the Spanish economy? They are aiming for a higher deficit target than what was agreed upon. But does Madrid worry you as much as Athens?
No, I think that the fact that they are going to miss the target is due to the fact that their economy is likely to contract by about 1.3 or 1.5% or so this year, after growing 0.7% last year. Is it a major worry? Not really. I think that they're definitely not in the same place as Greece. There are reasons to believe that the Spanish economy is much more resilient, has much more stronger growth prospects, is more diverse, and can take the austerity which has been dished out. However, having said that, there are still risks attached to missing the target, because that means that they'll have to renegotiate some of the funds which they themselves have received, and I suspect therefore that the pressure will be on them from their partners to find some way of hitting that fiscal deficit target.